Hello, this is our science class and we are working on our weather booklet. And yesterday we learned about the water cycle and its evaporation, condensation, precipitation, collection, evaporation, condensation. That's when it goes back up to the cloud. Precipitation is when it falls down. Collection is when it collects in a river or an ocean or a puddle. And then evaporation is when it goes back up. So it happens over and over and over. Well, today we're going to start working on our weather reporters. Now, did you know that you can go to college? One of your career choices could be a meteorologist. That's a person who studies weather patterns, who studies how to report the weather, how to read weather charts. I think it's a pretty interesting field to get into. And a lot of us like to look at the weather because we want to know how to dress for the day, because in Texas you can't tell. It'll be cold in the morning and hot in the afternoon. Some days all hot, some days all cold, just really crazy. But I have a book here that will help us some. And so it talks about weather watching. All right, so the study of weather includes watching it daily and charting it. Okay, so you can find out, well, when this kind of cloud shows up, this happens. Or when this kind of wind shows up, it does this much damage. So then you know how to warn people. Like, well, we know that the winds are going to be up to 45 miles per hour. And you need to make sure everything is strapped down or in a garage. So it's very helpful to study weather. Watching the weather. And I'm going to read this page first. Scientists who study the weather are called meteorologist. That is a big word. Let's clap the parts. Meteorologist. Let's do it with our fingers. Meteorologist. A 6-syllable word. If you want to go to college to study weather, you'll have a 6-syllable word for your title. Meteorologist. Can you say it? Meteorologist. Just say it slowly. That's their title. Weather reports or forecast. A weather report is called a forecast. That means telling what's going to happen in the future. Before you get there, you know. They are given all over the world so we know how to prepare for the days ahead. Do we need to put on sunscreen for a hot sunny day? Or do we need to wrap up warm and prepare for snow? Here's a discovery fact. The first ever weather forecast appeared in the Times newspaper in the United Kingdom on August the 1st, 1861. The forecast was correct. All right, let's see what we're going to do here. We're going to look at this page and we're going to see what else we have. We have weather balloons. Weather balloons are used by meteorologists. Who is that? A weather studying person. To collect data. They are filled with gas, like helium, and they can soar up to 25 miles above the Earth's surface. Measuring instruments are carried in a box beneath the balloon, and they send information back to the weather station on the ground. All right, look at this. This is a weather balloon. I don't know if you can see it, but it has a little box down here. And those are some measuring instruments. And they will record the weather that they see, that it has with its camera, and send it back to the weather station. So you can pick it up on a computer. Pretty high tech. All right, discovery fact. We are now able to observe weather on other planets in our solar system using telescopes and space probes. Then on the bottom it says weather forecast. People have always tried to predict the weather as it can help them make better plans for the days ahead. Today, meteorologists, who is that? People who study weather, use computer technology to make better forecasts than ever before. Radio and TV stations are used to keep everyone up to date with the latest forecast, and now we can find the latest weather news on the internet. So in the morning, if you want to know what the weather is, there's different ways you can find out. You can turn on your TV. They'll give you a weather forecast in the morning news. You can turn on a radio. At some point in the day, it will give you a weather forecast. If you have a Google Dot or you have Alexa, you can say, "Hey Google, what's the weather today?" and it'll tell you what the high temperature is, the low temperature will be, and if it's going to be windy or rainy or sunny. It's pretty neat. So we have all kind of ways.
In Burleson today, it'll be partly cloudy with a forecasted high of 77 and a low of 60.
Did you hear?
Currently it's 68 and partly cloudy.
Did you hear that? That is my Google Dot. It heard me say that.
In Burleson today, expect a high of 77 and a low of 60.
So it's trying to tell us the weather. All right. So it's always listening to me, I suppose. So this is called a satellite. Okay? That is a satellite. It floats in the atmosphere above the Earth. Weather satellites orbit, that means travel around, that's an orbit, the Earth, measuring weather conditions and climate. So climate is different from weather conditions. What is climate? Climate is the weather over a long period of time. It repeats almost every year, the same thing. Because they are high above the Earth, satellites can see a lot of our planet. This means they can follow a large weather event such as a hurricane and provide important information back to meteorologists. Who are meteorologists? People who study weather on the ground. So they, just like when I can call you on my phone, I can call you, bleep, 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 hello, and you can receive it even though these two phones are not connected. The sound waves travel over the wires and through the air. This information also can come down onto a computer. There's no wires attached, but it can come down and give them the information. So like if they need to study a hurricane and they want to warn people, they will get some information from the satellite on what the hurricane is doing, how fast the wind is, how fast the storm is moving. It's very helpful. All right, and this is called a weather station. It stays attached to the ground. Weather stations are placed all over the world to gather information for forecast. This is not a weather station that gives a report on a TV. This is a measuring instrument, and they also named it a weather station. Special instruments measure rain, wind speed, humidity, and temperature. All right, this is a rain gauge. Rain comes in the top of it, and it has a ruler that measures how many inches it fills up. Okay, that's a rain gauge. A rain gauge is used to record how much rainwater falls every day. So you have to empty it every day if you want to know what's falling every day, because if you have in there from yesterday, that'll change what falls today. Because like if you have 1 inch from yesterday and then it rained 3 inches today, you might think, oh, it rained 4 inches. But you still had yesterday's in there, so you have to dump it every day. And anemometer, where's the anemometer? All right, this is not a satellite. It is an anemometer. Okay, this is not part of it. This is an anemometer. Okay, and it's got those 2 balls on the bottom, or actually it has 3 balls. An anemometer measures wind speed. The faster the wind blows, the faster those balls spin. And it can measure how fast they're turning and therefore give you a speed on the wind. So anemometer is wind speed. All right, and this, what is this? This is a thermometer. It's not for taking your temperature, it's for taking the temperature outside. It's a different one that takes human temperatures. A thermometer measures temperature. These readings are used to give an accurate picture of the current weather outside and to make forecasts for the coming days and weeks. So we could ask Google what the temperature is right now, and I think it's just told us it was 68. Or you could hang one of these outside your window. You wouldn't even have to go outside. You could just go look at your thermometer and it'll tell you all day long what the temperature is. As it gets hot, it comes up. As it gets cold, it goes down. All right, and the one that we skipped was this one. This is called a hygrometer. Okay, let's find out what a hygrometer does. A hygrometer measures humidity, or how much water there is in the air. Oh my goodness, how much water do you think is in the air today? Well, it's been kind of cloudy and wet feeling. I think the hygrometer would say there's more in the air today. In the middle of summer when there's not a cloud in the sky, how much humidity do you think's in the weather? Not much. In those burning hot days of Texas, it's so dry, not much humidity in the air. Well, we measure humidity with a hygrometer. Humidity is the water mist that's evaporating to the sky, and sometimes it just fills up the air. It makes it so wet. All right, so tomorrow, we did a lot of reading today, and I hope you were listening, because tomorrow we are going to cut out our weather tools, and we're going to, it's a little foldable that we're going to do, and we're going to put the definitions on the back, and so we will have fun doing that. So weather reporters and people who study the weather, meteorologists, there are reporters who stand on TV and give you the weather, and then there are meteorologists who don't come on TV. Sometimes they might, but they just study all the time. And so a weather reporter could be a meteorologist, or he could just be a reporter. There was something else I was going to tell you. I'm not sure what I was going to tell you. But a weather reporter gives you the forecast. So they come on TV or they come on the radio and they tell you what's going to be happening for the day. A meteorologist studies the weather, studies when the next storm is coming, and they probably try to gather information about that storm. I remember there was a movie that we watched, and it was not a real movie, but it was based on events that do happen. And I believe the name of it was Twister. And there were these meteorologists, and they had these, they looked like barrels. And inside the barrels were these small little bubbles, but they were plastic, or maybe they were metal, but they weren't like made out of soap. And so they so wanted to get it into the tornado, because those little bubbles would fly up out of the barrel and read the wind pressure, read the wind temperature, read all kind of information, and send it back to them on their computer. And they were always chasing these dangerous tornadoes, and most of the time the barrel would just turn over and it just wouldn't work for them. And so finally they did get one barrel to stay in the tornado, and all of those little things came out, and they were so excited. But it was an exciting movie because it was kind of scary, because they were always in the way of the tornadoes. Okay, I think that is all that we have for today, and we're going to work on our meteorology little fold out and our vocabulary words, and this week we should finish with our weather. You know what, we didn't go outside and look at the weather today. Let's do that. Let's see if I can get my computer up. It's supposed to get hot today, but it was cool this morning. So it looks like I see stratus clouds that are almost covering the sky, not completely, but almost. And the temperature is mild right now. It's not really cool, it's not really hot, it's mild. So on my little weather chart, I would choose mild. Also, we need to be filling out our data. That's one thing we can do. Where's my book? Let's see, I know I've got it here somewhere. Just give me a second. All right. So you need to be filling out your, oh man, got glued on there. You need to be filling out your weather chart. I am not videoing on the day that I'm doing this on Monday. And so I really can't fill out my chart, because if I fill it out for Monday, you're watching these on Tuesday, so it won't really match. But I need y'all to fill out, is it sunshiny today? Stratus clouds, light rain, heavy rain, windy. And this would be like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Okay? So fill it out. So what is it on Monday? You have to tell me what it was on Monday. On Tuesday, it is actually, well, this is actually Monday. So I don't know what Tuesday's going to be. That's why I can't fill mine out. But you fill yours out, okay? All right. And then we will, once we get the front one filled out, we'll flip it up. And we'll fill out the back one. Okay? Awesome. We got our little rain cycle on there. So neat. All right. I will see you this is our last class. I will see you tomorrow. All right. You have a good afternoon. If I can find the off button.